Good day, brothers and sisters. Wisdom at Dawn, episode 367, The Endless Cycle of Existence in the Six Realms, a Limited Understanding. In the following verse, as long as heaven and earth exist, karmic forces will be present. The four forms of birth and the six realms are an endless cycle of existence. With a pure mind, we must earnestly practice the six perfections. By listening to and practicing right Dharma, we will benefit all sentient beings. Master says, to learn the Buddha's way, we must be focused and sincere. When a good thought arises, we must immediately hold on to it. If we can sustain the aspirations and vows that we have formed, then our minds will become pure. And once we form these aspirations and hold on to it at all times, cravings, desires, affections, and so on will not confuse our minds. Then we can earnestly practice the six perfections. Thus the verse, with a pure mind, earnestly practice the six perfections. By listening and practicing the right Dharma, benefit all sentient beings. To illustrate this verse, let us look at Tzu Chi volunteers in Lesotho, South Africa. The country is impoverished, has many hardships, and is far away from us. But the people there believed in the Buddha Dharma and firmly practiced the Tzu Chi's Bodhisattva path. Their willingness to accept and practice the Buddha Dharma is very precious indeed. Even though they are far away from us, they seize the opportunity to learn the Bodhisattva path properly. Master feels very moved by their sincerity. Even though they do not have buildings but only use canvas tents, their practice center looked very dignified. They sang the Tzu Chi Foundation anthem in Chinese and read the Tzu Chi's 10 precepts in English. The certified African commissioners looked very refined in their cheongsam. They gave demonstrations of how to wear the uniforms, how to walk, stand, and sit properly following Tzu Chi etiquette. The training was very strict, just like in Taiwan. This was truly an eye-opening and very touching experience. There was an elderly woman whose family has received help from Tzu Chi. Having experienced the sincerity and thoughtfulness of Tzu Chi volunteers, she began to work hard and vowed to be someone who could help others too. So she started her training to become a commissioner. Although this woman was poor, she aspired to help others as well. She used her able body to help many AIDS patients by cleaning their homes and keeping them company. She even raised 10 cents, 50 cents at a time from her friends and family. As long as people have the will, there is nothing they cannot achieve. When we see the diligence of these bodhisattvas, we are reminded that there is nothing in the world we can't do. Master says, ordinary beings have no control over where we go and continue to cycle endlessly through the four forms of birth and the six realms. When can we stop this endless cycle so that we can make the choice and come and go freely? All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas come to this world or choose to go through the four forms of birth and six realms solely because they want to help sentient beings. And this is how they come and go freely. So therefore, we must seize our present thought in each moment and every second. When a good thought arises, we immediately seize it and hold on to it. And if we can keep holding on to this good thought and forever sustain the aspirations and vows that we have formed, then our minds will remain pure. Master says, as long as heaven and earth exist, karmic forces will also be present. Cyclic existence in the four forms of birth and six realms is endless. Therefore, the most important thing is to take care of our minds and to practice the six paramitas to benefit all sentient beings. Now, the four forms of birth are womb, egg, moisture, and transformation born. Why do we take a tiny form in the womb? The answer is because we all have desires. Once we have desires, we will endlessly experience the 12 cyclic link of existence. As in the verse, from just one thought deviating, karma leads us to take a tiny form in the womb. Like a person who takes drugs, we become physically addicted and cannot mentally free ourselves from it. Thus, we take on a tiny form in one of the four forms of birth. Master says, when a thought goes astray, if we have upheld the 5 precepts, we may still be reborn in a human form. But if not, then combined with other karma that we have created, we may be reborn in the other realms. We may take the form of an ox, horse, dog, pig, goat, chicken, ducks, or any other type of animals. Once a thought goes astray, we cannot save ourselves. We are like drug addicts who have no control, knowing it is harmful but yet too weak to quit or stay sober. And this is truly like becoming physically addicted. We cannot free our minds though we know what we do is wrong. So we continue to be reborn in the 4 forms of birth and face unbearable suffering life after life. Our karma continues to accumulate. If our blessed karma grows, that is wonderful. Life after life, increasing our blessed karma will help us develop our wisdom mind. But if life after life we are increasing our bad karma instead, then our suffering will become unbearable. In hell, there is the suffering of hells. In the animal realm, there is the animal suffering. Similarly, in the hungry ghost realm, there is suffering of hungry ghosts. In the human realm, there is suffering of humans. So there is even suffering in the heaven realms. The suffering in hell is indescribable. Their bodies endure endless suffering due to the boundless evils in their minds. In the animal realm, the suffering is being physically consumed by other beings all the time. In the ghost realm, the bodies and minds are always in pain. Like the story of Moggayanyana trying to give his mother a bowl of rice, flames erupted from her mouth and burned the bowl of rice into ashes. It was as if her whole body and mind was engulfed by fire. And this is what it's like in the ghost realm. In the human realm, if our bodies commit actions that do not benefit sentient beings, and our mind is often tempted by cravings or desires, then we will always feel troubled. In the heavenly realm, the lifespan is very long there, and one cannot encounter right dharma. So having not heard right dharma and indulging in pleasure and idleness for a long time, they live a mixed up life. All they want is to enjoy pleasures, but once they deplete their blessings, they will still fall into the 4 forms of birth and the 6 realms. So without dharma, sentient beings in the 5 realms are lost and have not awakened. So it is good to be born in the human realm where one can encounter the dharma. But if we do not listen or practice right dharma as humans, then we would have many chances to create bad karma. So therefore, be vigilant and mindful always.感恩 for listening in, brothers and sisters. May wisdom and inspiration be with all always.